The summer of 2017. The world's best stars will be gathered under the sky of Seoul. The best Star Wars in StarCraft II. GSL versus the world. For the past 7 years, the strongest StarCraft II players have been with this invincible castle, the GSL. The 8 very best players who represent the GSL. Stats, Soothe, Innovation, Dark, herO, T1, Young, SOS. The dominance of the GSL will be ended here. WCS circuit heroes from 8 countries around the world. The World All-Stars who represent 3 continents. Me, Cyril, Nurcio, Special, Kelazer, Showtime, Scarlet, Isanu. The honor of the country, the team, and my pride will be on our shoulders. The World War of StarCraft II, that is more than you can imagine. World is now becoming one with StarCraft II. GSL versus the world.
Have you heard the news? It just arrived in town. There's a villain in town. I heard he's the most dangerous one in that. Come in like fox the iron, lasting for the battle breath. Take the cape and the battle, take another sip of the
What's up, guys? We're finally here. It's happening. GSL versus the world. I'm Tace. Joining me is, as usual, our Tosis, but we have 2 other very special guests, Rotterdam and in control. Guys, welcome.
It's good to be here, Korea, the mecca of StarCraft, and an awesome event to celebrate the world of StarCraft even.
That's right.
Incredibly happy to be here. It feels so good. Studio looks awesome. We've got an awesome lineup. Now I understand why you guys are always such happy nerds, because I'm feeling it.
We are living the dream out here, man. It's kind of weird that we're now up here with 4 guys at the desk. We've never done this before, but this is going to be cool. We're going to be rotating in and out, caster pairs throughout the GSL versus the world, so you guys get a pretty good mix of what's going on.
Yeah, we're the good. They're the pretty good. It should be a fun, a good mixture of people kind of bringing it in there. The expertise.
I'm just excited to have you guys here. I mean, for the past 7-8 years, it's just been me and this guy, and to
it's
bring
run its course.
It's
run its course.
Finally, we get to see on Reddit, which, oh my God, this duo was so good this weekend. Give it up for Tasis and In Control. It's going to be something like that. I can't wait to read about that. It's going to be fantastic. But, I mean, this is such a hype tournament, too.
Yeah.
Like, even just walking in today when we saw these banners, oh, my God, it's been a while since we've had a tournament like this.
Yeah. Speaking of the tournament, we actually are going to show you guys what the brackets are going to look like, so you know what to expect over the next 4 days. As you can see here, it's going to be 4 days right in a row. We got a lot of money on the line. And don't forget that on the final day, it's not going to be at the GSL studio. We're actually going to be at Young University. Definitely show up early because we do fill up pretty quickly.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. And that is a special last day as well. We're going to have a big team match. Both sides really going at it, bringing out their best. And, of course, it's going to have a couple team captains in there. That's really fun with Stefano and Nesti. And then, of course, the grand finals of this bracket stage, which we'll be going through for the next 3 days.
Yeah, huge honor. I think when we look at both sides of this, once again, the storyline is very simply put. The Koreans are so powerful, so dominant, especially in Korea. That's even in the introduction. But for me, as always, I'm really excited to see which one of these world representatives can step up to the plate and give us a challenge, make a deep run. I mean, we still talk about it to this day, him winning a tournament in Korea. That's a huge deal. And we have the talent to do that, but man, are they facing a tough roster.
As you guys can see, it is a single elimination tournament, so each day we're going to be knocking out half the players that we see here till eventually we do get to that final match, which I'm really looking forward to. Also, you can see with our map pool, we've got some older maps and some newer ones here as well.
Yeah, mixing up the circuit maps with the GSL maps, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Some of those new ladder maps in there, of course. And, I mean, this is a dream come true, this tournament, guys. This is going to be just awesome.
Yeah, I've barely casted any games so far on Mac Depot, Acolyte, so that's going to be a lot of fun as well. And then obviously Ascension to Ire and Odyssey are the two maps everybody embraced from last season. And then, well, we've got a couple of old school maps as well with Newkirk and Whirlwind. Why not, guys? Why not?
How much do you guys want to bet we're not going to see? You know, it's just going to be like every other tournament right now. It's like we're going to see Abyssal, Odyssey, Ascension, and, and
It's best of
Newkirk.
5s though. We kick off with best of 5, so
Oh,
that's
yeah,
pretty
true.
awesome. At
That's
least
true.
we won't have the same 3 maps.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, our bracket, as you can see here, is very exciting. We do have some Korea versus Korea and some, I guess you could say world versus world, non-Korean versus non-Korean coming up here. But it's going to be very interesting. Obviously, a lot of people are expecting the Koreans, or a Korean, I should say, to win. But overall, the Koreans should dominate. But you never know. We have so many good, talented non-Koreans down here. I think there is a very realistic chance that we could have a big upset and non-Korean actually takes this.
We hope for a bunch.
And the world wins.
Everybody
the
world
GSL
wins.
loses and the world
the
finally
Koreans
wins.
win somehow. Yeah, well, this first day for me is the day of, like, intrigue, because on paper, a lot of these matchups are fairly one-sided. Special versus Callizer is really unfortunate. Callizer is not favored to win that match at all. They do a lot of battle in their respective region, but even when we expect that, oftentimes we can be surprised. And I think the marquee matchup for me is going to be Stats versus herO. Both of these guys are 2 top Protoss players.
Sero vs. Beyond is going to be sick as well.
Yeah.
Even though Sero is not necessarily known for his TVZ, it's going to be an awesome game.
Yeah, the best from Europe against the defending world champion, something that I think everyone is looking forward to here.
Yeah, so this first matchup obviously going to be pretty sick. I actually don't know who is really the favorite here. Do we even have a favorite? It's really tough to call.
It's dead even
herO, like,
tasteless.
It's 50-50.
50-50.
Well,
Exactly.
You guys are joking, but historically it's like 22 against 21, so it's very, very
Who has
close.
that edge rudder?
51-49 then.
Stats does?
Of course, of course.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I do think these guys have slightly different play styles. I feel like Stats is somebody who's been constantly improving. Not to say that herO's not doing that, but in a very more standard way. When we looked at herO throughout, I'd say, the last 2 years, he was really good at cutting you at the Achilles heel, taking you out early, or crippling you in some way, and then he would finish you off there or a little bit later on. So I think early game is going to be pretty important with these two guys, especially just to see what herO's going to be trying to do.
It feels like the hotter hand right now is herO, though. herO's been putting up better performances, not quite the results necessarily, but he's just looking a lot sharper. Stats is like the tried and true for a little while now. The Protoss best has been pretty much Stats and a couple other guys vying for that, but all of a sudden herO's up there. So I do agree with you. It's going to be interesting style-wise. Stats is like the more solid all-around player. herO's has probably some of the best micro. I heard Artos was talking about in the GSL quite recently. He's one of the best. He's really fun to watch.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at these two players before we bring them out and see what their thoughts are now that they're facing off in the GSL versus the world.
예전이었으면 집에서 TV로 시청했었을 텐데 이렇게 시드 자격으로 참가하게 돼서 굉장히 영광스럽게 생각하고 있고요. 준호 일단 굉장히 인정하는 투수 중 한 명이고 처음부터 좀 힘든 승부가 예상이 될 것 같아요. 준호야, 일단 미안해. 내가 너 이기고 8강에 먼저 올라갈게.
이번에 사실 기대를 안 했는데 이렇게 투표를 많이 해주셔서 뽑히게 됐기 때문에 많이 열심히 노력해가지고 꼭 우승할 수 있도록 하겠습니다. 배업이 굉장히 유쾌한 선수고 교과서적으로 되게 단단하게 플레이한다고 생각하고 있었습니다. 김대엽 선수도 강한 선수지만 저도 만만치 않기 때문에 이길 수 있습니다. 배업아, 프로브 조심하자.
This is such a great matchup. Stats versus herO. Really, when you think about it, these are the spiritual descendants of Raid and Party. Oh, wow. The most aggressive, best micro Protoss in the world in herO against the macro god, the defensive legend of Stats. They both won GSL tournaments this year. it's such an impossible match to call.
And PvP has been one of the more fun matchups to watch lately. I hate to be like that generic. I'm just a fan of the game, so like PvP has been awesome. I can't wait for it. Disruptors, man.
Might
Love
see a
it.
few of those. Might see.
I do think that the state that PvP is in right now is really good. By the way, guys, this is a best of 5, and I personally think it is going to go to 5 games. What about you guys?
Oh wow. I think it's going to go 22
I'm
out of
quite the
21.
daring caster up here. I'm like, I think it's going to go really long and be really
Gonna
good.
be an exciting one, guys.
Balls in
Down to
your
the
court,
wire.
other casters at the desk.
I mean, this is the hardest one to predict of the day. So if you're going to predict any 3-2s today, you're probably going to have to go with this match.
But if you're brave like me, you're going to say it's 3-0. I don't know who's going to do it, but someone's going to 3-0 here.
And I'm going to go right back behind Tasteless and right in on those coattails as I should. I think it's going to go down the wire. I'm hoping so. I love both these players. It's fun that it's a single limit, kind of adds more oomph to each of these matchups. It's not like, oh, he loses, but he'll make it out of the loser bracket. This is it. This is the last time you're watching Stats or Hero in this tournament.
It's also kind of funny because if I was either of these guys going into the GSL versus the world, I'd be disappointed. I'd be salty, right?
Let's be honest.
Because, of course, with the theme being GSL players battling the international players, the fact that these two guys, one of them is going to eliminate the other one right away, that sucks.
And if you lose in the round of 16, you walk away with 0 money
Nothing.
as well.
Nothing.
But Nick Hero, like Nick inside of Hero's body, who are you hoping for?
Nick inside of Hero's body. I'm
Yeah.
hoping for Hero.
No. What? You said if you were one of these two guys, you would be salty about this matchup. So I'm asking, if you were inside of Hero's body, who would you want to play against?
I'd want to play against...
You literally can't answer Hero, by the way.
No, I thought you said he was going to be salty. Never mind. I didn't get it. I don't know what's going on right now. I'm in control.
I thought you were asking
We're
him, like...
We're going to start the whole cast over, guys.
You're supposed to be the witty one, dude.
If you're a hero, who do you want to win? He's like, well, myself, obviously.
One of those 8 players
I
on
would
the
say
wall.
anybody who's not a Korean. That's what I would go with.
All right.
I think anybody who's not a Korean just for the sake of the team of the tournament.
Very safe.
He got one of the hardest
I know.
players. He got one of the hardest players. I agree.
So
Okay, we're all in agreement.
Let's start the match.
I guess we're not going to fight anymore. I'm glad we all came to that conclusion. Hero over here has really been on fire. His style has become, I think, it's gotten to the highest point we've ever seen. I actually always thought for a long time that people were going to solve Hero, and he was going to get shut down trying to do these kind of strats all the time. But it seems like he's actually blossomed into a more diverse.
You're a Hero
player.
hater is what you'd say then, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're nailing it on the head. You got
Always doubting hero.
It's funny though, because in Heart of the Swarm, I never really felt that Hero was a gimmicky Protoss, and obviously he's right now. He's much more than just a gimmicky Protoss. But I do agree with you. It feels like he plays a temporary style. Like this is gonna work for a month and a half, maybe 2 months. But at that point, you can't just rely on the depth shading in over and over again and killing a bunch of workers. As he even said, he said it in the video as well, right?
Yeah.
Watch out for your probes. I mean, that seems to be his game plan, but it keeps on working.
I thought that with his style of play, it would be like buying your tournament career on credit or something, and this would eventually come and nip him in the butt. But I guess not. He's really in fantastic shape, and I think this is not going to be easy for Stats.
His micro's incredible. I mean, that's what has been his staying power. Like, maybe he does a style that's fairly predictable. He is aggressive. You can kind of know that going into it. But the way he micros and executes is amazing. It's one of the absolute best.
I would say it is the best. And taking a look at this map pool, oh wow, we do get to see Mech Depot. Very excited about that. Unfortunately, I predicted a 3-0, so this match is not even going to go to map 4.
Oh, jeez.
How happy are you going to be, Artosis, if we end up in a game with Terran where there's meching on Mech Depot? Are you just going to lose it?
And he'll probably have depots too.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be perfect. It's going to be completely
Well, he'll
true
have
to
to
the
have
map.
one to make a barracks, right? So,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
At least one.
Yeah, at
One to
least
see
one.
what happens. And from there, it's a game of chance. We have no idea.
With three kids, his dad jokes have only tripled.
I do find the veto of Odyssey a tiny bit interesting is maybe not the right word, but it's just like not something I expect, because Odyssey is a pretty straightforward, fair map, I think, in PvP. And if you are a super solid player like Stats, why would you veto Odyssey? What does he hate so much about
Call on
Odyssey?
me, Rotterdam, call on me.
All right.
Because it has gold bases and he's playing against Hero is why.
In PvP,
Okay.
that's what he's worried about? A bunch of
Yeah,
zealots?
I am not even kidding, man. Like, Hero is so crazy aggressive that if he gets a slight tempo advantage and Stats has to defend, Stats will just lose on Odyssey because of the gold base. Hero will be taking that stuff in no time flat.
All right, guys, we are going to get this started. Your casters will be Artos and Rotterdam. This is Stats versus Hero, our first best of 5 in the GSL versus. Bye, guys.
Hey, thanks so much. Did he call you? Oh, I think we need to fix Roddy's mic over here, but I will introduce the players. Looks like our blue Protoss in the top left of Abyssal Reef. It is
Splice Stats.
I love it.
There we go.
I love it. Abyssal
He called
Reef,
you
our very
Ramadan,
first
man.
map. Stats, by the way, arrived like 3 minutes before this entire broadcast started. herO has been here since 3 p.m. Stats wasn't that worried. Saw him outside. He was relaxed. Over here on the right bottom side, looking at the main base of the Root Protoss, it is
Root Gaming, herO.
Of course, herO just so hot right now. He's just like on fire. Second place at IEM Shanghai that you and I just flew in from.
and you called that one, Echo.
I
You called
did,
it.
and everyone was flaming. Why are you hyping here? Because I watch his games, and if you watch his play right now, he's never been as sharp as he is at this moment.
Yeah, I still think it's hard to predict that herO is going to take this series, though. A couple months ago, they played a best of 5 against each other, and that one herO took 3-0, and I was like, damn, 3-0? How did that happen? It was just a probe massacre, and I think that's why he mentioned this in the video as well. Watch your probes, because not a single game truly went all the way up to 3, 4, 5 bases. No, it was just adapts killing probes over and over and over again, and if just probes wasn't enough, or just adapts, he would also go for oracles and stuff like that. So I don't know, I feel like something you can catch stats off guard once or twice, but can you do that 2 best of 5s in a row?
Well, it's a good question, but that was a little bit ago, and the thing is there are so many builds in PvP, right? It's pretty hard to actually predict exactly where hero's going to go. Is he going to proxy some oracles? Is he going to do an adept all-in, a 2-base adept all-in, a 3-base adept all-in? Who knows?
Yeah, I find the openings already quite interesting, as we actually see stats opening up with the adapts here, while herO is going for the stalkers. If I would normally have to make a prediction, I would have predicted it the other way around, because the stalkers is something you can really transition easily out of. It seems like Stats is the one who's feeling cheeky today.
It looks like he wants to go for a DT rush, perhaps, like just a straight-up hidden Twilight over here. I mean, it could be an upgrade, but I mean that plays counter to his image. And I mean, if he's showing up 2 minutes before the broadcast goes live, that kind of tells me that maybe he's just trying to take a laid-back approach to this tournament.
So much money on the line, though. Even this single best of 5 is already important. If you make it to the next round, you walk away with approximately $4,000. So it's a pretty big best of 5. We'll see. The robotic facility is already being wiped in, though, for herO. So straight up DTs. This doesn't necessarily mean this Dark Templars won't do any damage, because how often don't we see one observer being rallied to the other side of the map? But on paper, this doesn't look that good for Stats in game number 1.
No, it really is not right now. And herO, it looks like he's just going to go for an all-in here, throwing down a Prism. And this is where herO really, truly excels as well. Like, if you give him a Prison and Stalkers, that's like better than Blink for herO.
I mean, Byland is a little bit late. He messed up the wall off. Wow, this is going to get ugly. A couple of adepts are going to shade in and kill a whole bunch of workers here.
This is just crazy. Look at that. I can't believe he missed that pound. The one thing, you had one job, herO, was to block this out. So a lot of damage being dealt. That Prism's still in the way, and he sees that there's a Robos. That's going to be something that he's really paying attention to.
But he also saw all the gateways, and that's obviously a pretty big tell as well, because 3 gate and a Robo on one base before expanding, that's not really all that common. Losing 5 workers is obviously massive for herO, because you want to wipe in as many units on the other side of the map as possible. And then maybe if you get a contain up, that's when you want to expand as well, which becomes a whole lot harder of just 17 or 18 workers.
Dude, I'm loving Stats' position after that shade in, like especially seeing the Robo. If he makes 1 DT to defend and 1 DT to attack, how does he lose this game?
I mean, obviously he's not going to die, and that's the most important thing. At the moment, though, he only has a single worker. He might actually end up losing the Nexus, but the Dark Templars from Stats, I believe, are running towards the other side of the map. Look at herO, he's just going to run up this ramp and try to kill these Pylons? What?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's herO for you right there with that micro. Oh my god, an observer not even started. This could be game right here.
If he goes for the pylon, there is only a single pylon powering that robotics facility, but instead he's just going to go for workers. Only 13 workers remaining. If he gets that pylon, he's going to go for it. I don't think this observer is going to pop.
No, it certainly is not. And as that goes down, so do the chances of a victory here. And that is it. GG is called. Stats takes game number 1 with a build that you don't really expect him to be using. Proxy.
You'd expect it the other way around. Adepts in the beginning of the game, trying to shade in, trying to kill a whole bunch of probes, and finish it off with DTs. I mean, that has herO written all over it, but instead it was Stats. Also on a map like Abyssal as well, not normally a map where you see too many of these crazy builds.
No, it's a safe, nice macro map. It's very easy for a player, especially like Stats. Go up 4 or 5 bases, do anything he wants on it. But That's what I like about this build, right? He's coming in, he's pretty relaxed, he's using it counter style to what he normally uses. I think that's a good way to play against herO, because herO will use your style against you.
Yeah, I mean, you saw herO there again in the first game already, trying to be super aggressive with all these stalkers. Bringing a Prism as well, not only for reinforcements, but also for micro potential against overcharge. Yeah, not a single observer. And obviously it goes back to that probe, right? That probe was supposed to keep those adepts out. Oh,
and the thing is, the DTs might have still killed him, but he would have been feeling a lot better than the position he was put into, losing 5 probes. Just missing that. I mean, that's not something. If you make that type of wall in and you're going out,
it has one purpose.
It's the only thing you have to watch, is right there on the menu.
Game number 2 is going to be played on Newkirk Precinct between these two awesome Korean Protosses. As we're looking at the main base of the man that's up 1-0. He's representing Splice. A little cheeky in game 1. It is
Splice stats.
Just a great play there.
He brought his own pen.
Team number 1. Yeah, no, a lot of stats fans out there. He's a cutie. Down in the bottom right, most aggressive Protoss out there being out-aggressed. It is
Root Gaming, herO.
I was actually on the same plane as herO just a couple days ago. Yep.
You guys flew back to Seoul together? I was like, wait, how could that? Oh yeah, you were in Shanghai with them.
After the Intel Extreme Masters, herO had a phenomenal run. In case you guys missed it, took 2nd place just last week. Only in the final, Rogue was a little too much swarm to handle, but herO looked great throughout the entire tournament.
Yeah.
Played a couple of great games and did it in typical herO fashion. It wasn't the most clean Protoss play we've ever seen in our lives, but damn was it efficient.
Yeah, he put on quite a show, and that was his 5th IM finals. It's definitely worth watching. On the other hand, Stats was there as well. So you're probably thinking, oh well, I mean, Stats must have gone top 4, right? No, 3rd place in his group, eliminated, losing to Ayasanu at the end of the day. So that's a big deal because Ayasanu's in this tournament as well.
Yep, we're going to actually see him in action later today. In case you guys just joined us, the 2nd series is going to be between Special and Kalazur. After that, it's time for Innovation versus Ayasanu. And last but not least, perhaps the most exciting match of the day, I think at least the one that I'm most looking forward to, even though this PvP is awesome too. herO versus Beyond.
I cannot wait to see that. It's definitely a tough one for the Finnish Zerg. But if there is a Zerg in Europe that can do it, maybe it's him.
I think a lot of people feel that the overall drawing is very tough for the world. There aren't that many matchups where you're looking like, I truly believe. I mean, obviously, Neep getting a PvP against SOS, but PvP has changed a lot ever since Casper Cup last year. It's not necessarily the same matchup. Does Neep have a chance? Absolutely. Is he an overwhelming favorite? No, I wouldn't go there.
Yeah, I would actually go as far as to say I think all the foreigners kind of have a chance. I think one of the toughest matches for foreigners is actually Kalazur against Special, just because they have such a long history together, and Special has been so dominant in TVT. So
you believe in Ayasono against
Dude, he eliminated Gumiho and Stats from IM Shanghai, so I will never underestimate this man again.
So both players opening up with 2 adepts here on Newkirk. Now, it's not necessarily to do damage. Obviously, if you can, it's really important he keeps these adepts out because he doesn't have a mothership core yet. If these adepts slip in while there is... Whoa. Just straight up 3 gates?
Yeah, I guess so.
Is he going to let that gate finish? Or is he like, I messed up last game with the pylon, I will never make that mistake again. This time I'm walling off with a gateway?
Oh, well, I mean, he's getting a Twilight here as well. This is kind of interesting. Last second gets home with his mothership core.
A couple dead probes for Stats, who ended up losing 2 of them, but that's not the end of the world. He did a lot of damage on the mothership core. I wonder about the wall off of herO. I think herO canceled that gate, so he didn't want to rely on the pylon, and he went for the gateway. It seemed like he's in panic mode or something. That's very, very uncharacteristic.
I don't know here exactly what's going on. First off, 1-base blink. This is not a build that you see too often, but again, I do have to double underline, italicize, and bold the fact that herO is the best micro amongst the Protoss players. So maybe this is just something that he feels like he can bust through with, but with the Robo almost done.
Oh, these Stalkers from Stats are a little bit out of position. He does have reinforcements coming in though, so he's going to be alright with the 2 adepts here as well. Gets the pylons. herO's going to have to wait. herO's going to be forced to expand, and this expand is going to be a lot later than the expand of Stats.
And the fact that his blink is not quite half done and there's an Immortal on the way, I just am staring at this and thinking, okay, Stats gonna be very far ahead, like he already is. And even tech-wise, like Blink is a great upgrade to have. It's always going to be useful, but it doesn't counter anything here. And for such a late expo,
the only thing I can hope for herO is that he somehow grants high ground vision and doesn't go with his entire army, because that would be suicide. But maybe go for the good old 4-stock hit squad, blink 4 stocks into the main, get 7, 8, 9 probes, and then it's anybody's game.
well, it seems hard, just even with the building layout, right? Nothing looks too good for herO to get aggressive. I guess he can like try to shade an Adept up and use that for vision, maybe.
But if he blinks in here, or if he somehow tries to get anything done, I love this as well. He's gonna body block. Don't do that, herO. You just don't have the firepower. There's nothing herO can do here. There's really nothing he can do. All he can do is build out, pump out probes and turn this into a macro game.
Dude, he is behind right now by 6-7 probes at a time. That is not a good thing. Okay, I do like this move from herO. You know, you get behind, but he kind of has map control. He has the active units in the Blink Stalkers, trying to take a third.
Yeah, but Sats wasn't born last night. He's like, hey, if you open up with this many Blink Stalkers and you really don't get anything done, and your Nexus is that much later, why don't I try my luck and I show you how aggression is done? As Stats is making his way to the other side of the map. And with the Warprism, he can micro quite a bit as well. This is going to be so difficult. Does herO have pylons? Not yet.
Well, he's making 3 sentries, right? So I would say with Blink and 3 sentries with that pylon finishing, I think he'll be okay. Like, he'll live through this, but it's not like this is costing Stats anything.
And don't forget that during all of this, Stats is showing aggression. herO's obviously in panic mode. He's not building workers. Stats is still building workers, so Stats is already 10 probes ahead.
Oh boy, it is definitely a very tough one here as Stats pushes up. Great pickup there, even before the overcharge could hit it. Not letting really anything die at the moment, just a single stalker falling.
Well, even double overcharge being used as well. Stats doesn't know about this Nexus though. If only Stats knew, he's going to check for it right now.
You know, sometimes they don't, and you're like, wow, I was so lucky there, but he's just going to lose this.
Wow, herO still at 29 workers. 2 Adepts make their way into the main as well. Make that 27 or even 26. Stats is just all over his best of 5 so far, Joseph.
He really is. He's killing herO. I mean, I did say it was going to be a 3-0, so I'm not going to back up from that. Stats showing some great builds so far, like going from a very all-in one-base game into this nice macro play.
He blinks forward, gets the Prism, but doesn't want to go for that Immortal, even though the Stalkers were kind of far away. But herO is in so much trouble. There's no other way to spin this one. He's going to try to get a Sentry, but doesn't even end up getting that. So Charge is going to be his comeback way into this game. I mean, that's the desperate times call for desperate measures, and he knows it. Just GG's.
Yeah, that was pretty one-sided there, I have to say. I mean, well done to Stats. Good defense. You normally don't see one-base Blink. Like, Blink just takes so long, and what does it break, really? It doesn't counter anything.
And don't forget that Newkirk is also not one of these maps like, let's say, Odyssey or one of the other maps with a flat entrance or Ascension to Ire. You gotta go up a ramp, and it's impossible for Blink Stalkers on 1 base to break a Protoss on 2 base. And if you have 1 Immortal, that's all you do. You sit on top of that ramp because there's no high ground vision for herO.
Yeah.
Just an odd choice of build for that map. I don't really get it, but Stats is loving life. He showed up at 5:57 and he's already up 2-0 20 minutes later.
Yeah, this is one of the most laid-back 2-0s that I've ever seen, really. But, I mean, this guy is a GSL champion. You kind of expect to see this level of play out there. And maybe, he's going to make a run here after the disappointment in IM Shanghai.
Yeah, Stats is still, I think, by many considered to be the best Protoss in the world, together with Classic. But herO, on the other end, is being considered as one of the hottest. Yeah, of course, S as well. I mean, there's a couple really great out there, but I feel that Stats with his GSL victory this year, just a couple of other super deep runs. Just IM was almost uncharacteristically inconsistent by him, but that doesn't happen very often.
No, it certainly does not. Well, here we go. It's map number 3, Ascension to Ire in the top left. Up 2-0 right now. None other than
Splice Stats.
He has to be quite surprised as well about how this is going so far. He's like, wow, this is actually going better than most of my ladder games this morning.
No doubt.
Over here on the right bottom side of Ascension. He's down 0-2, but he has made comebacks before.
Root Gaming, herO.
Was down 0-2 in the semifinals of the Intox 3 Masters against TY. Turn it around.
Yeah, reverse all kills. This is definitely something that he does more often than a lot of players. He doesn't really ever panic, which is kind of a cool thing about him. He keeps his cool. He's always going to deliver as far as things like micro go, but so far, I guess really, these have both been strategic losses when you think about it. It's not like he fudged micro or got out macroed. It's just like he's choosing builds they aren't working.
Yeah, I think Abyssal could have been a completely different game if he gets the wall off with the pylon, if he makes one observer. I also think if he doesn't lose 5 probes, there's a chance that maybe he does get a safety observer.
Sure.
But since he was so broke, he's like, you know what, I'm just going to skip it. And that obviously was painful with the Dark Templars running into the main. But Newkirk was just, I think he was expecting Stats to do something different. Maybe he was expecting some Oracle play and he thought that his Blink Stalkers could be very efficient against that, because Newkirk traditionally is a good Stargate map.
It certainly is.
So maybe that was his reasoning behind it. We'll never know, but it really didn't work out.
Well, if he wins, I guess we can ask him about it.
Yeah.
If he loses, he might be out of here before we get the chance. But
he's always so nice. herO is one of those guys that doesn't get too... I mean, I'm sure he is emotional inside, but he would never show anger if you ask him something about a tournament.
a very smiley guy, you know, aptly nicknamed the Smiling Assassin. But, I mean, doesn't Stats actually even out-smile him?
They have different smiles, though. I
They
feel
do.
like herO has the happy smile,
Yeah.
and Stats has the, you know... "Oh, I'm
Goofy
not-
smile.
I'm not sure if I want to smile right now, but I can't hold it in any longer.
Yeah. Can't disagree with that one. All right, so just some Stalkers coming out from both sides. No one really showing their hand quite yet. 4 Stalker openings are about as safe as you can really get. You can kind of hold on against anything, but will they add anything beyond there, or just throw down some Nexuses?
Yeah, this is a map where I've definitely seen quite a few proxies as well over the last few months. Once again, there's no direct ramp going into the natural, so if you want to go for some crazy aggression early on, want to try to punish your opponent for their greed, this is one of these maps where it's a little bit easier than on a Newkirk, where you have to go up the ramp. And basically the way that the map designed is just it shuts down a lot of those aggressive openers.
So is this 6 Stalkers for herO? I believe he's opened with 6 of them before his Nexus, but Stats' opening is unbelievably safe. 4 Stalkers and a Mothership Core with a pylon at the front right away.
herO just doesn't stop with the aggression, does he?
Yeah.
There's a sentry on the way as well, though. That Robo is a little bit late. Imagine if he can get the Mothership Core. That would be quite massive, because then obviously he can still warp in 2 more Stalkers as well on this side of the map. Where's Stalker number 5 and 6? They're very far away. The Mothership Core just moved.
Oh, he gets that extra shot off. Good micro by Stats as well. And, I mean, he can hold the ramp for a moment, but to go back to the pylon is like a perfect play. You're not going to be able to break this when you have his overcharges.
This is 8 Stalkers, though. Once again, this time there's no ramp directly heading into the natural, so I really think that this time maybe herO with his micro, can he make the difference? There's 1 sentry, though. Where's the force field? It's kind of a random force field, but he does get a Stalker kill.
Yeah, picks that one off, but he is going to lose a sentry because of that. There's the overcharge, and that's going to push him back. And with how early he got the Mothership Core, he's going to have more overcharges. So it's not an issue to hold on. He's going to be completely fine and be able to warp in his own Stalkers.
Okay, that could complicate things a tiny bit, but Stats actually having a lot of Stalkers as well. He's just going to try to out-micro herO here. This is a little bit of a Stalker dance.
Kind of crazy that he's going for it, but kills one off there. 2 Adepts getting the main base. This could force an overcharge, and that is a big deal right now.
Yeah, but there's an Immortal that's more than halfway down, so I still think that Sets is going to be alright here, but obviously if herO can get like 3 or 4 more probes, that would make life a tiny bit more complicated. The Stalkers have gone all the way towards the south side of the map, so herO is kind of done with his aggression, but he obviously wants to get at least 1 more probe, maybe 2.
Yeah, he might get a couple right here. You don't really want to use an overcharge at this point when your opponent's being so aggressive. His own Adept's going to come over and help clean that up. And hey, at the end of the day, the probe count is only off by 2, and the Nexus is done for herO.
Yeah, I do prefer the tech of Stats, having that robotics facility finished up already, but maybe herO is going to do something a little different, as he already has Blink on the way, but there's a good chance that he's going to go like Blink and Charge, even though Adepts are great, and he loves Adepts, so maybe it's Blink and Adepts, but I feel like if you're right now trying to play the exact same Robo game as your opponent, you're always going to be behind.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with you on that, and it's kind of almost more herO style, right? If he just kind of goes for a swarmy gateway style right now, especially from behind like this. But what Stats has is looking good to me. He has his Prism out, he has sentries, he has an Immortal, so that means he has control.
I love the pylon block here, why not? It's 2017, we're going to pylon block each other's turret. There are 3 sentries, by the way, out for herO. I don't know where they are, but I think they are quite close. He's going to be in this natural. He's going to see his army. He has to pay attention. He doesn't have Blink yet, so he has to be very, very careful. This army is going to make its way up to the ramp, but with pylons here and a couple of sentries, herO should be fine.
Nah, he's not going to be able to break through, but that's okay too, because Stats has control. He's walking around, seeing what his opponent has. No third base. If he did, he could cancel it. And, you know, what are you supposed to do as herO? His blink should be finishing, yeah, just a few seconds here, so I guess he can at least push him back.
Let's see if he goes for anything crazy. If he tries, oh, he blinks forward. He goes for the Immortal and then the Prism. What? This is a very, very ballsy move with Guardian Shield.
Yeah, that is not going as well as you would hope, I think. But actually, at the end of the day, picks off the sentries. He killed a Prism. He killed a Mothership, or Immortal as well.
Yep, this army ain't getting home because herO already has Blink. That seemed like a crazy patience type of Blink to me. But it actually worked out. Love the force fields as well at home. herO cleans up that entire army, and for the first time in this series, we can truly say something went great for herO.
Yeah, I'm very surprised with the blink, to be honest, but he did it just right, and being able to pick off that Prism and the Immortals so quickly, I mean, who am I to ask questions? He gets to take his third base, and he's in a good place.
Yeah, a bizarre blink, because you blink in Guardian Shield as well, and if you make one full volley on the Immortal, but the Prism picks up the Immortal, you lose all the DPS. He could have ended up losing all of his units and the game, but I think he went for Immortal and then immediately switched target towards the Prism to make sure there was no micro potential there. He just blinked in the main base.
Yeah, look at this move. Uh-oh, that in control pylon over there takes it out. Everything unpowered.
I'm sorry, Delsus, but nobody calls it an in control pylon. You can keep trying though, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I do my best. I try to show good cast for my fans.
Oh well. I mean, it's a nice move there by herO. Once again, he's playing very ballsy, very aggressive. Obviously, that's something we expect coming out of him. He's like, hey, I've got Blink, and I want to make the best of it.
And blinks away right there. So some nice moves, staying very active at the moment. He hasn't won the game. Counter Blink is on the way, and this is like a very old school move here as well from Stats. The fact that he's going into that counter blink, he has a lot of stalkers. Sometimes you catch your opponent off guard. They haven't been making as many stalkers. They're trying to tech up. They're trying to be greedy, and then you can do some damage with this attack.
What do you think about the double forge from herO?
Oh, I like it. The meta
Zealots?
has, the meta's really been shifting in Korea more towards gateway units and away from things like disruptors.
Yep.
So he with more upgrades is he who wins the fight.
Well, Stats has a very big army as well. I don't think he has a Prism with this army, so herO shouldn't be in any danger of dying. But the Immortal count is in favor of Stats. Now, one Immortal is obviously not the end of the world, but if you get caught out of position, I love the fast 4 bases as well. If you want to play this swarmy style of Protoss, which I'm a big fan of, you definitely need to take all the bases and don't take all of your guesses, which is exactly what he's not doing.
Oh, this is very, very well done here by herO. Defending against absolutely everything. His upgrades are going to be ahead. He's going to be able to get into charge relatively quickly here. And from there, he's got that kind of tempo advantage that I think is scary for Stats, who oftentimes likes to sit back and be cost-efficient and stuff. How do you do that, though, against someone who's going to have, 30% more economy?
Yep, that is going to be very difficult, but the one thing I think that will be difficult for herO is that he needs to find Stats out of position, because it doesn't matter how many Zealots and Stalkers you have. If your opponent is sitting there, in this case Stats with like 3 Archons and a couple of Immortals behind it, I mean, Zealots are fantastic, but at that point just Zealots is not going to be enough. But now he's getting his own Templar Arcus as well, so maybe he's not trying to stay forever on this low tech.
Yeah, I think if you've gone for this style to open up as 1-1's finishing, I want to see him poke. I want to see him, if he can get anything done across the map. And I don't think he'll really be able to do anything to Stats right now, but, at least he's getting intel as he pushes out.
By sending the Immortals towards the main base as well, can obviously wipe in a couple of Zealots, and that's very hard to deal with, because you can't just wipe in a couple of Stalkers if there's 2 Immortals in that prison as well. I like how this is going though. This is a much better herO so far in game number 3. Everything he's been doing makes sense, and the execution has been awesome.
This drop, too, is just really quite the rage right now. Look at this. He's making these units come around and hunt him. The big Warpin in the main base. Down goes an overcharge, but against Zealot Immortal, that overcharge means nothing.
Nope, he's going to completely ignore that. Good weapons there by Stats, but actually makes it a little bit awkward for those Zealots again on top of that pylon. And these overcharges are doing some serious work. The Stalkers are going to try to blink forward and obviously get the Prism. And will Stats be able to get it?
Oh, blinking forward, he does pick it off just before it finishes that Warpin. But at the same time, here's herO jumping on top of these Archons. Great micro here, though, from Stats.
Yeah, Stats actually still has an insane amount of units. He's going to try to recall, and he does. Wow. That would have been a terrible fight for herO, obviously, as these Stalkers were way too close towards those Archons as well. And the Immortals were very well positioned too. It just seems like Stats has so damn much.
Yeah, Stats is playing like a man on fire right now. Just every move is looking great. And look at that supply. He's come back from a deficit. And I loved the drop by herO. I loved the move-in by herO while he was dealing with the drop. Like, herO's making so many good moves. What's going wrong?
Maybe it was too much at the same time. Maybe sacrificing the Immortal or the two Immortals with the Prism while going double Forge. Basically, if you're going double Forge, you could say the time is on your side, because eventually you might get 2-2. But I guess he just expected to be able to overrun Stats somewhere. But Stats did a phenomenal job in never splitting off too much or too little.
Well, this is what he is. Oh god, now the counter double immortal drop with the Zealot Warpins. Unpowering just a single gateway there, but a recall into the main base to deal with this.
Yeah, but that's a lot of Zealots and two Immortals in the back as well. Just a couple of Stalks is not going to be enough. And don't forget about the massive army of Stats on the north side, destroying the fort. Wow. I thought Stats was going to take this series, Tosis, but in no universe did I think the series was going to look like this.
Yeah, I mean, even with my 3-0 prediction, I did not think that Stats would just destroy him. An aggressive game, a defensive game, and then a game from behind. This is Stats in peak form right now.
Yep, Guardian Shield helps out a little bit there, but Stats just has too much. 17 pros have gone down as well. A couple of force fields are queued. One Archon does get picked off. But during all of this, Stats is dropping a Fleet Beacon, a Stargate, he's getting 3 more Archons at home, and he's not even done yet with his Prism.
Okay, so with the 4th base, like, how do you come back here as herO? It seems impossible, because I felt like he had done everything right, and then all of a sudden we're looking at this, and Stats is ahead in every single way. He's even started carriers.
I loved it. The SimCity at home from Stats was just fantastic. To deal with that double Immortal drop and all the Zealots as well. The overcharges lasted for a very long time. Got enough time for his own Stalkers, and I feel the moment he picked up that Prism and he cleaned that up, he had enough units for on the rest of the map where he was never really in true danger. And this was obviously where herO was hoping to do kind of what Stats just did. You know, drop in the main, kill the fort. That was herO's game plan. It didn't work out.
I tell you, this particular game I feel like is one people are going to want to study a lot in the future for just how to move your army around, how to play from behind and get back. And look at this, going in, cleaning him up. Stats will take down herO 3-0.
Stats is letting everybody know that what happened last week at the Intel Extreme Masters in Shanghai was a mistake. That's not going to happen anymore.
No.
This was an incredibly convincing performance by Stats. In a series we all thought that was going to be very close.
All right, Roddy, I got to run up for the interview. I'll see you again in a minute.
All right, looking forward to hear from the winner, which is Stats. Sarkosis is making his way over towards the stage, when he will be joined by Sojang. Stats gonna be a very happy man. He really couldn't be much better, much cleaner, much more convincing than that. Pretty much the first game, obviously the Dark Templars made it a little, you never know how that's gonna play out, but after that, it was kind of all Stats.
It was, except for in that last game. It felt like Stats was way behind, and then all of a sudden he just wasn't.
All right, here I am, Artosis, along with Sojang, and of course our winner of that first series, Stats. Stats, you had a tough IM Shanghai, but you've come back and destroyed the guy that got second place there. What's going on?
상하이에서 떨어지고 나서 굉장히 좀 스스로 충격을 많이 받아가지고 돌아오자마자 연습을 굉장히 많이 했어요. 그래가지고 평소보다도 2배 정도 연습을 더 많이 해서 오늘 경기장 왔는데 좋은 결과 나온 것 같아서 뿌듯하게 생각을 하고 있어요.
After I came back from Shanghai, I practiced twice as much as I practiced, and I'm really satisfied with my good results today.
Well, I mean, you definitely should be. That was pretty crazy to 3-0 herO, a player who has actually 3-0'd him recently. But for the next question here, you know, at IM Shanghai, you were eliminated by Ayasanu, who happens to be in this tournament. I just wonder, how do you feel about these foreign competitors? And is there anyone that you're particularly afraid of?
일단 상하이 때 아이소뉴 선수한테 져가지고 좀 그때 지고 나서 좀 많은 생각이 좀 들었어요. 아, 외국인 선수한테는 이렇게까지 져본 적이 없는데 이번에 그런 대회에서 이렇게 진 게 너무 좀 저 스스로한테 충격으로 다가왔었어 가지고 정말 외국 선수들도 정말 연습 많이 하고 잘 하고 있고 방심하면 안 되는 선수라는 것을 그때 지면서 깨닫게 된 사건이었던 것 같아요.
I came to realize that foreign players are also good, and I was really disappointed at myself after losing. And I knew that foreign players are also good at gaming. 그리고 또 혹시 대회 참가하고 있는 선수 중에 특히나 두려워하는 선수가 있나요?
글쎄요. 아이소녀 선수한테 한번 져보니까 좀 두려워지더라고요. 외국 선수들이 좀 두려워지더라고요. 아이소녀 선수뿐만 아니라 스칼렛 선수나 세렐 선수도 참가하셨나요? 네. 선수들이 좀 걱정이 많이 될 것 같아요.
After losing to Aisanu, I'm kind of scared of the foreign Zergs, and especially herO too. I'm just scared of foreign players overall.
Well, very good to hear about that. Stats, what are you hoping for the rest of the year? You're already going to BlizzCon. You're looking like you're in top form right now after the disappointing last tournament. What do you think you can do?
일단 제 후반기의 계획은 일단 지금 이 대회인 GSL 더 월드에서 우승하는 거고요. 그리고 이제 끝나고 나서 바로 GSL 16강 경기도 있을 텐데 거기서도 좋은 성적 거두는 게 제 1차 목표입니다.
Later for this year, my first goal is to actually win GSL versus the world, and later we're going to have GSL round of 16. I want to pass that, and that's my plan for this year.
So to win everything. All right, excellent. Thank you so much, Sojung and Stats. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, our next match.
Ready